I decided to be proactive. I was living in Lake Forest, and I didn't want my children to be scrambling at the end of the day. I wanted to make my own choice. Then a member of this group kept prodding me, look at Presbyterian Homes, and I was dragging my feet for a while. She said, "You'd better put your name on the list," she said, "or you'll reach a point you won't be able to take advantage of all that it has to offer." And I did, and now I am close to two of my children who live in the Chicago area. I've never been sorry that I made this choice.
When I talked to Moira, I had some experience in having my own parents be in a continued care community in Florida. And it was the greatest gift that they ever gave to their four children, because we never worried about them. And when they went from independent to assisted living to the clinic to the nursing home and till they finally died, we never worried about them because they were taken care of. And I thought that's why we came here. We started when we were 70 and we didn't make it until we were 84. But we started thinking about it then. But it was the example of my parents, and what we try to do is to sell our friends on the same idea. Instead of being cared for by a caretaker in your home, where you don't have any community, you have nobody to talk to, they have to come to you. You are in a community here, which is very important.
Well, as a physician, I experienced many of my patients who got into situations where they had to move into assisted living or into nursing home care. And I know all the problem it was for their families, for their kids. The kids had to help make these tough decisions. And so when my wife and I moved here, we moved with the thought that we would save them any of these problems, because we knew there was a very smooth transition here from totally independent to intermediate care to full care, and they would not have to be concerned about it.
We started looking into it. Our children were horrified. They thought, "You're too young, this is not the right thing." And when they moved us in and took one look around, they all said, "Just thank you. Well, we just don't have to worry about it." And the number of friends you make who are the support system is phenomenal. So it is not only a staff system, but it is a resident system that helps you get through it.
My daughter-in-law's grandmother had lived here for 10 years, and because of visiting here during that period and seeing the care she got, convinced me that this is where I should be. And I moved here from out of state. I came from Maryland.
What impressed us the most was as you walked around, everybody you met had a smile on their face. It didn't matter if it was people who are on staff or people who lived here. It was very obvious. Everybody was glad they were here. That's really the pushing factor.
This is Presbyterian Home, and it started with the church. And this is a problem that is really an asset. While it is Presbyterian, it accepts all faiths, but the spiritual side of what's here is significant. And you don't find that other places. And I think it permeates everything we do. The way the staff, which has been here for a long time, is honored to work here, and we sense their devotion to their jobs, and they're friendly, and that's not something you can create. It has to be developed over a long time.
Well, I think it's outstanding for its fitness center. We not only have a beautiful pool, but we have programs for people at every level. And whoever does the hiring, is capable of great discrimination, because all of the instructors are qualified, really well qualified, whether it's to teach yoga or bodies in motion or aerobics, or it's outstanding for its opportunities to keep your body fit.
We're very happy. And seeing all those other places, I wouldn't trade with any of my friends. I think it's the one in a million places.
I came from Ohio 3.5 years ago because we have 3 of our 5 families live immediately within 20 minutes. And I became aware immediately of all the good activities that were taking place within our own community here at Westminster Place. But then I got involved with all these other great activities in the area. We're close to Northwestern, so I opt to take classes there. We're very close to classical music and theater and great restaurants. It's a wonderful place to be, and it's not smack in the center of town in some big high-rise. It's out in a beautiful suburban community. And I'm just amazed at how appropriate it is.
I find the hardest nut to crack when you're talking to somebody who's thinking about coming here is that they don't want to leave their house or their possessions. And I think, or their privacy. And I think what we try to tell them is that you still have your privacy, but you have an enriched life that you will not have if you stay in your house and have a caretaker and just sit in your room. You never, I think maybe one of the most wonderful gifts that this community has given to us. I have macular degeneration, so I have low vision. And what I've done is to watch other people, and when they have macular, I've been watching how they handle it. And it's helped me. Then we have friends who have lost their husbands or their wives, and you see, how do they handle that? In other words, you learn, even at our advanced age, you learn how to grow old and how to face the end of life by listening to the experiences and watching. It's a marvelous experience. It's an uplifting experience.
I was widowed 2 years ago and living in Maryland, and at the urging of my son and his wife was the reason that I moved. And it took a great deal of courage to sell a house and make the move, but I have not regretted it one bit. It was an easier transition than I expected it to be.
Let me add a new dimension. We had no problem in deciding to come here because my wife had served as a volunteer here for 35 years. My sister lived here for 13 years. We knew all about the place. We knew about the facilities, about the staff. It was a complete known as far as we were concerned. I want to stress that one of the advantages, I think, of this home compared to a lot of others are the really fine volunteers. There are more than 100 volunteers working in all areas of the home, and that's a real plus to the home. Probably in addition to the physical facilities, I think the staff is absolutely superb. They smile, they're responsive, they have a good attitude, and my own field was management. I have a high regard for the management of the home. I think they just do things right. I think the nonprofit status of the home sets it apart from many other retirement homes, and I think that's extremely important. And it seems to me that a nonprofit organization really, I mean, I like that idea that they're here and it's here to serve. We're not a commercial establishment, so I just think it's an important feature of the home.
Hear people talk about no child is left behind, but well, here nobody's left behind. You've got so much to do, and so many wonderful people. People are the most important thing, not your apartment or this location or that. But I'm amazed at the variety and the interesting people. Got a tremendous number of new friends.
Your trips and travel tours are outstanding. The staff accommodates everyone so beautifully. Down to the theater, over to Northwestern, up to Libertyville recently, to 2 museums that none of us had even discovered before. And accessibility to being social or being by yourself is a big choice that we all love to do.
And not having to park your car when you get there.
Yeah.
A message came up saying, well, we just started a railroad club. I said, oh, you did? And I said, well, where are you located? What are you doing? He said, well, we're over in the craft shop, And we got all the track laid out. And I said, well, what kind of track have you got laid out? And they said, end gauge. And I said, oh, that's bad. It's a narrow gauge. It's hard to keep it on the track and all that sort of thing. And he said, yeah, well, we got the track. I said, well, I got the trains. And I had packed away 50 years ago, before I went, of 12 different engines, 12 different trains. I had a tremendous setup in the basement in our home for the kids and me. And
They weren't allowed to.
yeah, so I had all, and I wondered, how am I going to get rid of all this? And suddenly, I said, you're lucky. I said, we got it made. I said, I'll figure out how we keep it on the track. And we have had a great relationship with a group of guys. And who would think you'd get back in the railroad business again?
They've brought in some new things too. When they had the Olympics this year, they brought in and let people try a Segway, introduced Nordic walking, which I have become a great fan of. And I know a lot of other people do, because you see them with the sticks walking around the campus. I think that if there is something new out there to try, the staff manages to bring it in and let us all experience it.
I found the computer room. I wasn't into computers in a big way before we came, and computer room is part of my life now. Also, I think the change, the enhancement is the things you left that you don't have to do. You simplified your life. You know, storm windows, raking leaves, cutting the grass. Goodbye.